but we finished a little bit early. So I sent everybody home for a long weekend, and we are back here in New Prague, down in southern Minnesota. So if you guys want to follow along what we've been doing in northern Minnesota, you can type in the hashtag Cottage Cabin. It is one of the coolest projects I've ever done. It is a wilderness cabin in northern Minnesota, brand new construction, but completely styled to look like a 1920s, 1930s sort of lakeside cottage. Basically, the ethos of my business that I created 10 years ago is what's the best of the old, what's the best of the new, and let's combine them. So design, style, colors, things like that, some of the old traditional shellacs, oils, things like that, the best of the old combined with new. We have energy safe, we have safe for people, and we also have some super highly technologically advanced coatings as well. So you can marry a lot of those, and not only that, but techniques too. You know, we have air-assisted airless sprayers for fine finish trim, but we'll do traditional coatings with them, or we'll use the most scientifically advanced exterior acrylic coatings and elastomerics, but we'll still put them on by brush because we feel it's a better way. So a project like that where you marry the old and the new is directly aligned with the ethos of my company, and I couldn't be happier with the outcome that we had. This project started this last winter. Homeowner, it's very unique. The homeowner actually cut down some trees, milled all the millwork, lumber for the inside of the house, and we finished that. And this was one of the first projects in the United States to completely use Sherwin-Williams emerald urethane trim enamel on that. It was a complete success. I loved it. It was great to experiment, and also with a very quick turnaround time with that, we were able to enamel all the intricate woodwork twice in a day up there. And especially when you're, you know, hours and hours and hours away from home and family and business, it's very important that you have some of those quick turnaround times, but without degrading quality of the product too. So we finished all the millwork, finished all the walls in there, ceilings, cabinets, custom cabinets. Homeowner built the cabinets themselves. Again, cut down some oak trees, milled all the oak for it, put them together. One cabinet is actually made out of an old Northwest Airlines shipping crate, still has some labels on it, things like that. A little bit of reclaimed wood. I finished all those with a traditional oil varnish in my shop, shipped those up to them. Those were installed, and this last day or two that we've been up there, we actually finished the outside. And again, the outside does not disappoint. Solid oak split shakes on it, and most of the house is solid white oak shakes. I have not run across another house sided, clad on the outside, with solid oak shakes, and they're nice thick ones too. Most of the houses around here get pine, get cedar, get redwood, things like that. Even the old buildings around here, you see a lot of redwood, a lot of pine shakes, things like that, but I have never ever seen solid oak shakes on the house. So we hand oiled it, 2 coats of a very high quality satin finish log oil. Did a whole bunch of beadboard painting in the traditional manner above the porches and the decks, enameled some front doors, took care of a bunch of miscellaneous stuff, and then you know, we put in an extra long day in a little bit today, and I sent everybody home. The next 3 weeks or so are going to be some of the most hectic of my year. Tomorrow morning, I leave for a family vacation with my family, so next week's Ask a Painter will actually be from a tropical island in the Gulf of Mexico. If you guys want to look back through my old Ask a Painter episodes, you can see I've done at least one from there. Lots of interesting places. I've done them from the Canadian wilderness. I've done them from this island down in Florida. So if you guys have any questions, especially you Florida, Gulf states, Louisiana, all you guys down there, if you have any specific questions as to coating and painting down there, I've actually done a couple projects on this island. I'd like to get some feedback from you guys and also some questions too. So look forward to that this next week. The week after that, we are doing a Victorian mansion restoration in a neighboring town here, and me and the apprentices will be living down there. So you'll get a beautiful, beautiful Ask a Painter down from one of the most beautiful homes in southern Minnesota. And then 3 weeks from now, the PDCA Craftsmanship Forum will be going on in Chicago, and I'll actually be giving a master's class on cabinet enameling. So we have a lot of very interesting Ask a Painters coming up. As soon as I get done with this hectic schedule, we're going to sit down and do the annual cabinet trim millwork enameling big show. It's usually one of my most popular shows, and I'll be fresh off a master's class and PDCA Craftsmanship Forum, and we'll be talking about that. So let me just make sure my... right. I thought it looked like the video was a little... Let me switch this around here, guys, real quick. You guys let me know if this flips over. There's been some stuff going on with live videos recently where they're not flipping around for me. So I think what I will do is try to flip it around here. Well, that doesn't look like it does either. So, all right, well, you guys have to bear with me here. I'll try to correct this a little bit later here. PDCA contractor question of the week today. Let me see if I can fix this real quick, guys. Bear with me. Give me just a second. Okay, let's see what we can do. I think they've recently changed this this live part of Facebook recently, and there's been changes coming. So, okay, all right, we'll give this a try here. So, craftsmanship forum coming up, and today, because we are done with the wilderness stuff in northern Minnesota, I've been getting a bunch of questions about color matching and touch-ups. You know, probably about a half a dozen versions of each. So the PDCA contractor question of the week this week is going to be about matching colors that are existing. We have no records of the cans, and we're going to kind of walk through that. I picked these two questions and I coupled them together mainly because they have more to do with managing the customer's expectations than they do to actually doing the jobs. Because if you've been around long enough, you understand that if you have no record of the paint, you can take a chip off something and take it in and get matched, but usually you're going to end up matching something that's faded or dirty, or, you know, it's still not a perfect science. You won't be able to touch that up. And also, you know, I've had a couple projects recently where, again, the homeowners, you know, we have no record of the paint. We just need you to get it as close as you can. We don't want the whole house painted. We want maybe half or these sections done. So you got to make it look like the other stuff. And at that point, you're matching faded colors. So even if you have a can, it's not going to be the perfect thing for you there. So, oh, thank you guys for letting me know it switched around. Like I said, there's been some changes here recently to the live stuff, and I'm sure it'll catch up here in a little bit. So I want to show you my way of matching existing colors the best you can. Obviously, very intimidating. You're looking at a fan deck. You can take any random fan deck, and if we're trying to match this trim paint on here, sometimes it can be very difficult. You start pulling out colors you like, and something looks good, something doesn't, and you're not really sure what to do. Here's how I do it. I try to find 3 examples of the color. You get rid of all the other colors, you hold those 3 examples up, and then magically 1 or 2 will pop out at you. So we can go through, make sure we can see here. A little too yellow, a little too tan. This one's close, still too gold. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. I'll pull that one out. See if we didn't miss any here. I think we're good. Okay, so we got one candidate pulled out here. Those are from the historic colors back in Benjamin Moore here. I'm going to go to sort of the pastels and the colors up front here. See if we can find another couple more examples. Close, but a little too bright. Too peach. Close, too bright. There, we're starting to get a little bit closer. Still too bright. We need to have it a little more earthy, kind of a little more muddy. Okay, now we're kind of getting in the ballpark here. You can see the colors are starting to come online here. So I'm going to pull that one out. And like I said, I will try to find 3 examples here. Yeah, we're kind of right in that ballpark here. So I've got 3 relatively good candidates here. And if experience tells me, something will sort of pop out here. Okay, so historic colors back here. I pulled out one here. You can tell now that they're too light and they're too bright. Let's see if I can get this in the shade here. Okay, so that one's not going to be a great candidate. Okay, so we start looking at these colors here. I see that we're in the ballpark here. This looks a little too earthy, a little too muddy. This one looks a little too yellow, so let's go up some here. This is a very good candidate, but tiny bit light. It might be a quarter shade or a half shade light. And I think this is probably the closest one on this card, and this is the closest one on this card. So when you hold them up now, there seems to be a pretty clear difference. This, good color. You can see the sort of tints that go in it down here, but a little too light. So I think this one here, Constantino Chardonnay. Now, if you go get a quart of this stuff and do bits and pieces on here, I guarantee you it's not going to touch up. The whole part about this is managing the customer's expectations. You will get very close with this. 1 out of 300 times you might actually get a good match. Even if you get the perfect color, the shine will probably not match what you have on there. So again, managing the customer's expectations. What I do when people ask for touch-ups or they ask for color matches like this, I basically tell them I cannot guarantee you a match. There's 2 ways we can go about this. I can get as close as I can can mimic the shine, we can touch it up, we can do that, but we should do larger areas. If you can keep it to one wall, one door, one something, having just bits and pieces on there will catch your eye much more than having the entire door. Even if this door doesn't match soffit and fascia up there, it's still not going to catch your eye as much as a dab right in the middle of a door like this. So managing customers' expectations, and you know, from owning my business for 10 years now, I basically will not touch up anybody's paint. Maybe 1 out of 100, 1 out of 300, you might get lucky. In a house that's been painted in the last year or two, there might be a good can in the basement. For any of you guys who have been around long enough, you know, even if you have the can, even it's from a couple months ago, you go to touch up something, the gods conspire against you, and for some reason it doesn't touch up. Color's good. If it's a eggshell or a satin paint, you're going to be adding to the shine. You may put it on with a brush where they put it on with a roller, so you're going to get a texture difference. Many things go wrong, so I usually just counsel my homeowners to try it yourself. It's the easiest thing in the world. You don't need a professional to do that for you, so try touching up yourself. If it doesn't work, then you can call me, then we can do a larger area. We can keep it to a minimum for you, but honestly, you know, when people call me, they expect a certain thing, and if I can't guarantee them it's going to be of the highest quality, I usually just try to pass. And it's the lesser of two evils. You want to help people out, but also, you know, even if the homeowner tells you it's okay, I know it's not going to match perfect, but when you go through that entire house, say on an inside, and touch up stuff, and that whole house is leopard spotted now, they will not be happy with it, even if they told you that they'd be fine with it. So new construction as well, the bane of a lot of new construction guys is the touch-up part. Thank you guys for all the comments and stuff below. When I'm done with this, I'm going to scroll through and go through some questions for you. The bane of most new construction guys is the touch-ups, and mainly because of a application difference. A lot of guys spray the walls, some of them back roll, some of them don't. Walls get nicked up just from the construction process, and you have to go back and touch some things up. Well, if you take a brush and dab some on there, anytime you hand apply something, either by brush or by roller, because of the mechanical portion of pushing it against there, it tends to be shinier. Spraying tends to be a little bit duller, so you're going to get a texture difference there. I don't have any problems touching up my new construction. I usually do my my 2 top coats from the start with brush and roller, so it's sort of a standard repaint. So I feel it's you can get a little more even shine, even texture, and easier for touch-ups at the end of the thing too. And I also, you know, when I do my new construction, I like to go with a low luster, a satin, and eggshell finish, and give them that good paint right away. That's sort of, again, you know, when somebody calls me, they expect a certain thing, and that's what I try to do to give them. So if you guys have any questions about this, let me know. If you have any questions about the hashtag Cottage Cabin project, I'd happy to go through that stuff as well. Chad, Miriam, thank you for watching. Joel Ramos, thank you so much, and Joel, thank you so much for following along this week. I do appreciate it. Russ Perry, thank you, sir. Hello to you as well. Joel always has some kind words. I do appreciate it. Cesar Romero, or Cesar Garcia, thank you so much, sir, from Seattle. Jerry, videos on the side, yeah, we'll get that covered. Mike Danahy, hello to you too, sir. Dwayne Battles, I always go with my first one. If it's almost an instinct when matching, it feels like that's your eyes start playing tricks with you. Yeah, absolutely. And this works pretty good for distinct colors. The darker they are, they seem, the better it goes. With off-whites, basically impossible. If I don't have a can of the current job's stuff, an old record of it, usually just start from scratch. Even a color match, you can get close, but especially with trim enameling, it's a tough one. Off-whites are near impossible. So use a paper clip to mark colors. Good tip there, Russ Perry. Customer education is the way to go. Helps them understand the work involved. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the longer I'm involved with this, the more I realize that managing the customer is becoming more of a portion than managing the actual job. If you're a contractor worth your salt, if you're the least bit trustworthy, you should be a good painter already. And basically, it's just managing the homeowner, not over-promising. You know, promise what you would do, and then always overperform. Give them a little bit more than they bargained for. Mike Danahy, teach the customer the importance of keeping home maintenance records. Keep a paint file with brand. Yeah, that would be nice. One of the things to get around that, because any bit of paperwork is going to be lost. I print up labels with my company logo on it, date, and then the place we use the colors, and I stick them on the cans. Because people, the best record of a paint is the actual can itself. Hopefully, if we're doing our job as contractors, it'll have a formula label on it. And most times, people are not that eager to dig out 30 paint cans out of their basement and throw them away, whereas a piece of paper a lot of time gets lost. So I stick my labels on these cans, and if you guys have been following my social media feed, it's once in a while I'll go into, well, there's a historic school right down the street from me. I went in there for a kind of final tour of it, and I walked down into the bowels there and kind of the boiler room of it, and I found some of my old cans from, you know, 8-10 years ago on there with my labels on them. So it's kind of cool to still see that around. Whereas if you gave that janitor a color sheet and a spec sheet, that would be dust in the wind. So let's see what else we got here. Cody Thomas, hello from Colorado. Thanks for watching, man. I appreciate it. Russ, if you're doing touch-ups with the original paint on the interior or previously painted, how long before the color won't match? Furniture delivery guys, I basically say they'll never match. I wish there was a hard and fast science to it, but they say, well, you know, if you keep your paint cans somewhere cool and dry and this and that, it'll be good for, it's fine. In theory, I try to only deliver and promise things that I can guarantee to deliver to the homeowner, and touch-ups is not one of those. So basically I just tell them, you know, a couple options here. Number one, first, I would like you to do it because it's cheaper and it doesn't take any special skill, just touch it up. And number two, if you don't, I basically look them in the eye and I give them 3 warnings. This will not match, this will not match, this will not match. Do you understand? And then I'll do it. And still, at the end of those, I can feel that they're disappointed with that, so I just try to steer clear of it. So, Wander, I'm here in Brazil. Always accompanied your work. Congratulations, thank you so much, and thanks for all the feedback this last couple of weeks here. So, Jerry, we try to get the lids on tight and the can upside down. Yeah, there's a lot of those little tricks there, but again, way more important to manage the homeowner than to manage the actual project on stuff like that. So, all right, well, everybody, thank you. I got to get ready. My family and I are going to spend a little time today. I've been putting in some long hours away from home and stuff. I have to prepare for these big projects coming up. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me. If you got any questions for me, happy to answer them anytime. You can send them through social media. As always, I love pictures of your projects. Send me what's going on. Send me the products you're using. I love that perspective of seeing what pros are doing. And homeowners, I got some great homeowner questions this week from people. We got grandmother's, you know, a bedroom set. There was a feed, and somebody said, well, hey, I want to restore this easily, but I don't want to take it down and have a $4,000 resto job on it. What do we do? And there was a whole stream of, you know, mayonnaise, baking soda, castor oil, you know, all these sort of weird kind of homespun remedies. And I was able to hop in with a little bit of knowledge, with some quick restoration stuff, and provide a recommendation for a product that you can get right down at the hardware store. And the homeowner actually posted some pictures of the finished product, and it was great. And you're not setting yourself up for failure by rubbing mayonnaise or olive oil or canola oil on your furniture. So thank you again. Love all the homeowner stuff, love all the pro stuff. We don't always have to talk coatings on here too. If you want to talk business, let's do that too. So thank you guys, everybody. I do appreciate your viewership, and as always, correspond. That's what I'm here for. So have a good weekend, guys, and we'll see you next week.